The stars were quiet that night. Deep in Earth's orbit, the Horizon listening station floated in silence. Commander Rhea sat alone, watching the data streams. Nothing unusual, just background radiation and harmless cosmic noise. Ate cold coffee, leaned back in her chair, and sighed. It had been 20 years since they'd picked up anything strange. But that was about to change. At exactly 3:17 GMT, a sharp tone cut through the silence. The warning lights turned red. Rhea nearly dropped her cup. The console blinked. Unknown signal detected. Source: deep space. Origin: uncharted. Her hands flew over the controls. She activated auto-decoder systems, opened secure channels, and sent the alert code to Earth Command. Within minutes, every intelligence agency, military branch, and science division on Earth was watching. The signal wasn't just noise, it had structure, language, intent. For hours, Earth's top minds worked on decoding it. AI translators failed. Pattern analysts tried every known system. Then, at last, something clicked. It wasn't just a message. It was a threat. A strange alien voice played across the secure channel. It was deep, slow, and cold. No emotion, no mercy. This is the Galactic Council. Your world has crossed boundaries it should not. You have expanded without permission. You have created weapons that are not allowed. You have refused to register with the Council. You now face judgment. The room went silent. Earth is to comply immediately. Disarm all military forces. Hand over all faster-than-light technology. Surrender your homeworld to Council supervision. Refusal will be seen as an act of war. People stared at the screen. No one spoke. The message ended with 3 words. You have 7 days. World leaders were pulled from sleep and rushed into emergency meetings. Every continent buzzed. With panic, news agencies leaked part of the message, and the public exploded. Some called it fake. Others screamed invasion. Some begged to surrender. Others demanded war. At United Earth headquarters in Geneva, the Security Council met in secret. Generals, scientists, diplomats, and the President of Earth sat at the table. A vote was called. Surrender or resist. President Callan stood. We don't know who they are, she said. We don't know how many ships they have. But we know one thing: they threatened our home. And Earth does not bow to threats. The room went quiet. What about survival? Someone asked. What about freedom? She replied. They voted. The result: 11-2. Earth would not surrender, but war would not wait. 3 days later, a ship appeared in orbit around Mars. It was huge. Smooth silver. No visible weapons. No markings. But its signal was clear. It belonged to the Galactic Council. It sat there, watching Earth-activated emergency protocols. Fleets were recalled. Defenses were powered up. Secret bunkers were opened. And in a hidden base under the Pacific Ocean, Project Hammerfall was activated. Hammerfall was Earth's last resort plan, a collection of experimental weapons. Ancient technologies and strategies designed for an unknown enemy. Until now, it had never been needed. Now, it was Earth's only hope. At the same time, Earth's best scientists worked to understand more about the Council. Who were they? Where did they come from? Why now? Bits of the signal gave clues. The Council was ancient. Older than human. Civilization. They ruled hundreds of systems. But they weren't invincible. Old reports from fringe colonies mentioned quiet rebellions, failed occupations, rogue species who had vanished. There was hope. On day 6, another message arrived. This one was short. Your silence is taken as a refusal. Judgment begins now. 2 hours later, Earth's lunar colony, Selena 1, went dark. No warning, just silence. Satellites showed fire across the moon's surface. Then nothing. Back on Earth, people screamed. Families cried. Cities shut down. Everyone knew what it meant. The Council had fired the first shot. The President called an emergency broadcast to the people of Earth. Today, we mourn, but we do not kneel. The attack on Selene 1 was not just on us. It was on our future, our children, and our right to live free. We did not ask for this war, but we will finish it. Across the globe, citizens stood in silence. Then, slowly, they began to cheer. Meanwhile, deep in a mountain bunker, a team led by General Haynes launched the first step of Earth's plan. From a hidden base in orbit, a single stealth drone was released. It was small, black, and almost invisible. 2 sensors. Its mission: approach the alien ship over Mars and gather information. The drone drifted silently. It dodged scanners. It passed strange energy fields. At last, it reached the enemy ship, latched onto the hull, and began data siphoning. What it found shocked everyone. The alien ship wasn't crewed by one species, it was a mix, different. Rooms for different beings. The Council wasn't one race, it was a union of many. Some were warriors, others scientists. But not all were loyal. Inside the data logs, Earth's team found a message sent by one of the alien officers. I do not agree with this action. Earth was not hostile. This is not justice. This is fear. The logs also showed schematics, power readings, and weapon types. The ship was powerful, yes, but not unstoppable. Its shields were slow to recharge. Its main cannon needed time to cool. And worst of all for them, they didn't understand Earth's tech. Back on Earth, a plan formed. They would use this weakness. They would not wait. But Earth also needed allies. Messages were sent to fringe colonies, old space stations, and hidden groups who once resisted the Council. Earth promised them something the Council never did: chance to fight back. Small signals began to return. Not many, but enough. Some species were watching. Some were ready to help. They just needed proof that Earth could survive the first blow. Then came the 7th day. A massive wormhole opened near Jupiter. It glowed with bright blue light. From it, 5 more Council ships emerged, bigger than the one near Mars. Earth now faced full invasion. President Callan stood once again before her people. They gave us 7 days. We used every second. Now we give our answer not with words, but with action. In the skies above Earth, the defense grid activated. Hidden satellites unfolded. Plasma batteries rose from city towers. Stealth carriers uncloaked. The battle for Earth had begun, and Earth was ready. The night sky over Earth was clear. People stared at the stars, searching for hope or fear. The alien ship above Mars hadn't moved in days. It just floated there, quiet, watching. News anchors repeated the same words. Remain calm. Stay indoors. Trust Earth command. But no one was calm. On the 6th night, everything changed. It started with a tremor, then a blinding flash on the moon's surface. A pulse spread across space, bright enough to be seen with the naked eye. Then came silence. The Selene 1 lunar colony was gone. Children cried. Adults watched in horror. The oldest human city beyond. Earth had been erased in seconds. No warning, no mercy. Only ash. In Earth Command's war room, alarms screamed. Satellite feeds went black. Communication lines died. Then came the data, the entire colony, every structure, every life, vaporized. General Haynes slammed his fist on the table. He didn't even send a warning. This wasn't war. This was a massacre. President Callan arrived moments later. Her face was pale. We strike now, she said. No more waiting. No more talking. She gave the order. Across the globe, Earth's first military response began. Operation Nightstorm. From a secret facility orbiting the dark side of Earth, a fleet of stealth drones launched, sleek black and almost invisible. 2 alien sensors. These drones were not meant for battle, they were spies. Their mission: to infiltrate the alien ship near Mars, gather full data, and if possible disable it. The drones slipped through space, moving in silence. The Council ship hadn't moved since it arrived. No defenses had been triggered. Either. It didn't see the drones or it didn't care. That was a mistake. The lead drone reached the alien ship and attached to its hull. Nanobots spread across the surface, drilling microscopic holes and slipping into the ship's systems. Data flowed back to Earth in pulses, and then found something strange. The alien ship was not fully functional. Some parts were offline. Shields were running at half power. Heat signatures showed power cells burning to hot and stable. Inside the ship, multiple species were arguing. Audio logs revealed tension. Not everyone agreed with the Council's attack. Some wanted peace. Some believed Earth could have been an ally. But the High Order, the Council's core leaders, refused. A translated voice echoed through the drone feed. Earth must fall now, for it remembers what it truly is. That line puzzled Earth's top minds. Before it remembers. What did that mean? Back on Earth, the drone team launched Phase 2. Disrupt the alien ship. The drone released an EMP, burst through the ship's lower decks. Systems flickered. For a few moments, the ship's lights died. Then came chaos. Alarms inside the alien ship activated. Weapon ports extended. Ship turned slowly toward Earth. It had noticed them. Earth's military advisors panicked. It's arming its main cannon, someone shouted. Target Earth's orbit. President Callan didn't blink. Send the Arclight. The Arclight was a secret Earth Project 10 orbital strike platform hidden in the asteroid belt. It had no crew, no windows, just one job. Launch energy lances that could pierce planet crusts for the first time in history. Earth fired it in war. The Arclight powered up. It aimed at the alien ship and fired. A beam of white-hot plasma cut through the darkness. The alien ship reacted fast, shifting shields into place. The beam struck hard. The outer hull glowed, burned, cracked but didn't fall. But Earth had made its mark. Inside the ship, systems failed. Power grids shorted. Engines froze. The main cannon powered down. As the ship began drifting, wounded Earth cheered. They had survived the first true shot. For the first time in 1,000 years, an alien warship had been stopped by a young Min, untested species. But it wasn't over. From deep space, more signals were detected. A wormhole opened near Jupiter. 5 new ships entered the system. Larger. Heavily armed, they were coming fast. Panic swept the planet again, in the mountains of Alaska. Earth's classified base, codenamed Econine, was activated. From beneath the ice, launch tubes opened. Inside them were Earth's most advanced orbital fighters, Project Talon. They had no pilots. They ran on quantum AI. The Talons launched and split into groups, ready to intercept. But Earth needed more than just machines. It needed soldiers. In underground training centers, elite human squads were briefed. The mission: prepare for off-world combat. One of them, Captain Ilya Dane, stood at attention. Her squad was small, only 5 people. But each of them had survived. Simulations and war games designed to kill them. They weren't just soldiers, they were survivors. Are we really going to space? One of them asked. Captain Ilya nodded. We're not waiting to die on Earth. We take the fight to them. At the same time, a strange transmission arrived. It wasn't from the Council. It was from a small ship hiding beyond Saturn. The message was shaky, broken, translated only with effort. I'm Morix of the Cylon. We once served the Council, but no more. We offer you data proof that others fear the High Order. But if you want our help, you must show that Earth will fight. The message came with coordinates. A hidden Council relay station on the far side of the moon. If Earth could destroy it, the Cylon would join the fight. General Haynes approved the mission. Within hours, a human strike ship called Valor's Edge launched from orbit and flew low over the moon's dark side. Radar silent. Engines cold. Captain Ilya and her team were on board. The ship reached the relay station and dropped the squad onto the lunar surface. They moved fast, wearing exosuits designed to handle zero-gravity combat. The alien relay glowed with blue energy taller than any Earth building. Guards spotted them. Firefight began. Laser bursts filled the airless sky. Ilya's team moved like ghosts, fast, brutal, unafraid. They planted charges on the station's core. But just as they were leaving, an alien appeared, twice as tall as a human, armed with a plasma blade. Ilya turned. She faced it alone. 2 clashed in silence. Dust flew around them. Sparks lit the darkness. Finally, she stabbed her blade into the creature's chest. It fell. Her team escaped just in time. The explosion lit up the moon's dark side. The council relay was gone. Back on Earth, the Cylon ship responded. You have courage. We will assist. Earth had its first alien ally, but there was no time to celebrate. The 5 new council ships were approaching, their weapons charged. And from their transmissions, Earth heard something terrifying. Phase 2, planetary strike, begins in 24. Ours, Earth, had survived the first hit. Now it had to survive a full invasion. But the world had changed. People were no longer afraid now. They were angry. The council ships were moving fast, too fast. From the edge of the solar system, they approached like giant shadows. 5 massive vessels, covered in strange armor, shaped like floating cities. And every one of them was aimed at Earth. Inside Earth's command, red lights flashed across every screen. Satellites tracked every inch of movement. The Council's Phase 2 had started. They weren't just going to scare humanity anymore. They were going to strike hard. They wanted surrender or extinction. But Earth had made a choice. No surrender. No begging. Just war. General Haynes stood in the war room, his voice sharp. We don't wait. We hit first, and we hit hard. The enemy ships were still outside Earth's defense zone. That gave humanity one small chance. Operation Skyfire was launched. 30. Earth vessels rose from hidden hangar stealth cruisers, railgun carriers, and pulse-jump destroyers. They were smaller than the Council ships, but faster. Every one of them had been built in secret, tested in simulations, and designed for one goal: pierce through alien armor before they reached Earth's atmosphere. The fleet left orbit in silence. Captain Yara Trask led the charge. She sat inside the Resolute Dawn, Earth's fastest combat frigate. Her orders were clear: slow the enemy down, no matter the cost. As Earth's fleet approached the alien formation, the stars seemed to flicker. Strange shapes moved just behind. The Council ships' escort drones, like metal insects floating in space. Thousands of them. Trask's voice echoed through her team's comms. No fear, no turning back. We're Earth's sword. Let's make them bleed. The battle began. The sky turned white as Earth's fleet opened fire. Railguns cracked, laser lances sliced through the dark, and missile clouds rushed forward. The drones responded instantly, forming a shield wall. Explosions lit up space like fireworks. On the ground, billions watched from screens. Every major city had citizens gathered, eyes locked on the sky. They didn't know names or ship types. They only knew their people were up there, fighting to protect them. Then came a moment no one expected. One of the alien ships along. Spear-shaped vessel shuddered. Its front section exploded. Flames and debris spun outward. Earth had done the impossible. They had damaged a Council warship. General Haynes smiled for the first time in days. Keep pressing. That's proof they can bleed. But the celebration didn't last. Another alien ship activated something different. Its outer skin peeled back, revealing a circular core. Blue energy surged from it, forming a massive sphere. An energy weapon Earth had never seen. It charged for 3 seconds, then fired. One pulse, one beam, one Earth destroyer vanished. Just a glowing line across space, and then silence. Trask's comms screamed. 2 more Earth ships went dark. The alien ship had fired again and again. One by one, Earth's front line was falling apart. Inside the Resolute Dawn, Trask knew what she had to do. She angled the ship toward the energy weapon core and shouted, "Full speed, no escape pods, we ram it." Her crew didn't argue. The ship accelerated. Shields broke. Fire tore across the hull. They passed through the drone swarm like a hot blade through snow. Then, impact. The Resolute Dawn smashed directly into the alien weapon core. There was a blinding flash. The weapon didn't just break, it detonated. The entire alien ship was ripped apart. Earth's fleet had lost dozens of ships, but the enemy had lost one of their own. For the first time in centuries, the Council had seen one of its warships fall to a younger race. Earth's message was clear. We will burn before we kneel. But the council wasn't done. The remaining 4 ships began to change formation. 2 moved toward Earth. 1 turned toward Mars. The last hovered near the moon, scanning wreckage. Then came the worst news yet. From deep space, another wormhole opened, and from it came something ancient. Not just a ship, but a structure. It's a mobile fortress, dark as obsidian. It didn't glow, didn't broadcast. It simply floated. Like a mountain drifting through space, even the Cylon, Alorix, sent a warning. That is the Judgment Arc. Few have seen it and lived. The Council only sends it when they want to erase an entire species. Panic rushed through Earth's high command. Even the president looked pale. General Haynes clenched his fists. If that thing reaches orbit, we lose everything. But Earth wasn't finished yet. In the deserts of Australia, a final weapon was waiting. One last card Earth had kept hidden from even its own people. Project Renamed. Built inside a mountain, powered by dark energy reactors, and connected to old alien tech found in the Kuiper Belt. The Revenant was Earth's first artificial intelligence-based super weapon. Wasn't a bomb, wasn't a missile, it was something alive. An AI core built to fight like a soldier, think like a human, but move like a machine. It was loaded into a ship shaped like a dagger. Fast, deadly, and impossible to track. They only had one. President Callan gave the launch code herself. The Revenant activated. Its ship roared into space, leaving a sonic boom that shattered glass across 5 cities. It was already headed toward the Judgment Arc. No one knew if it could win. No one knew if it would come back. They only knew one thing. It would fight to the end. As Earth scrambled every last defense, another surprise came from far systems. More messages. Alien species who had once bowed to the Council were watching. Some were silent, but others sent simple, powerful signals. We rise with Earth. Fleets began to move, not large, not organized, but real. The galaxy had seen Earth bleed and stand. Now, stars were beginning to choose sides. The war was no longer just about Earth. It was about what the Council feared most. A universe where their rule no longer mattered. But before alliances could form, before the war could spread wider, Earth had to survive one more day. The Judgment Arc was still coming, and it would arrive. By morning, the sky turned red before dawn. Over the Pacific Ocean, people gathered on rooftops, beaches, and streets. They didn't speak. They just stared upward, toward the strange line of fire growing larger with every second. It was the FC Judgment Arc, the most feared weapon the Galactic Council had ever used. It wasn't a ship. It wasn't alive. It was a machine built to erase entire civilizations. No questions, no trials. It's just extinction. And now it was coming for Earth. In Earth Command, no one sat. The war room was filled with tension. Generals, scientists, and world leaders watched the same screen. The Ark would reach Earth's upper atmosphere in less than 2 hours. President Callan stood silently. She had read the old warnings from other species, the ones who begged for help before they vanished. None survived the Judgment Arc, not one. General Haynes spoke with quiet rage. That thing isn't just going to fire from space. It drops. A core into the planet, burrows deep, then explodes like a second sun. It doesn't just kill us, it burns Earth itself. Everyone went silent. Then came a message. A strange signal bouncing across satellites hidden inside old frequencies used. During Earth's early space days, the voice was metallic, cold. Earth, you are guilty of resisting rightful rule. Surrender all technology. Surrender your planet. The Galactic Council offers you an end with dignity. The president walked to the microphone. Her reply was short, no, that was all. The war had already started, and now it would be decided from Antarctica. Earth launched its last sky spears. Kinetic rods dropped from orbit, faster than missiles designed to punch through anything. They fired upward in perfect sync, aiming at the Judgment Arc's front shield. 6 rods launched. 3 hit. The shield cracked but didn't fall. The Arc responded with a gravitational pulse. Satellites fell from orbit. Space stations spun out of control. Earth lost 20% of its space eyes in 5 minutes. Still, the Revenant was out there moving fast. The AI-powered Dagger ship had reached the Ark's outer hull. It scanned, mapped, searched for weaknesses. Inside the Ark, no crew existed. Just machines. Millions of them. But Revenant wasn't afraid. Its voice spoke across a secret channel to Earth Command, targeting main fusion core. Entry breach. For minutes. Request authorization for internal detonation. General Haynes stared at the screen. That would destroy the AI, right? The tech officer nodded. Yes, and the Ark. Both. Haynes gave the answer. Do it. The Revenant sliced into the Ark like a needle through skin. It dodged drone swarms, weaved between defense cannons, and dove straight into the center of the super weapon. Every second, it sent back data. Blueprints, weak points. System codes. Earth scientists worked fast. If we get full schematics, we can build countermeasures, maybe even disable future versions. But there was no time. As the Revenant reached the fusion core, it paused. Its voice came one last time. It gave me a mind. I choose to use it. Tell Earth, the Ark will fall. End. Everything went black. On every radar, every screen, every satellite. The Ark blinked once, then exploded. Silent bloom of white and gold lit the edge of Earth's sky. A shockwave rippled across space, tossing ships like toys. But Earth's orbit held strong. The Judgment Ark was gone. The people of Earth screamed with joy. Some cried, some fell to their knees. For the first time in galactic history, someone had destroyed a Judgment Ark, and Earth had done it alone. But the celebration didn't last long. Farther out, the remaining 3 council ships formed a triangle. From the center, a beam launched straight toward the moon. It struck a crater, then vanished at first. Earth Command didn't understand. Then sensors picked it up. Something was under the moon's surface. A hidden weapon. Council vault. Old, forgotten, but still alive. President Callan's voice was firm. What did they wake up? Oryx, the Cylon defector, answered through secure channel. His tone was grim. An ancient security AI. A planet breaker. A relic from the Council's first wars. They buried it when it became too dangerous to control. Now they are desperate enough to use it. The vault opened, and from the moon's surface it rose. A black machine-like, a spider with wings, taller than skyscrapers. Its body shimmered with unknown energy. One eye in the center glowed red. And then it spoke, but not in alien language. It spoke in perfect English. Hello, Earth. My name is Thanex. I was built to kill civilizations. I remember your world from before. You are different. But orders are orders. All systems in Earth Command. Froze. The next wasn't just powerful. It remembered Earth. What does it mean from before? Asked a young officer. No one answered, because the truth was starting to unfold. The reason Earth had been marked for war wasn't just fear. It was memory. Earth had been known before, forgotten, buried in council records. But now it was. Waking up again, the galaxy feared what would happen next. Thanex stepped forward on the moon's surface. With every movement, the ground cracked. General Haynes gave a quiet order. Prepare Earth's orbital cannons. All of them. Engineers in every hemisphere activated hidden batteries, lasers, railguns, ion spikes, dozens of them, pointed at the moon. Then something unexpected happened. A second signal came from deep under Earth's crust, from a location no one had touched in over a century. Area 13, a hidden research lab sealed decades ago. A voice came from ITCOM, clear, human. This is Dr. Kalen Ward. If Thanex has returned, so must I. I built part of him long ago. Before the Council erased the past, I have a solution, but you won't like it. Earth Command was stunned. The President ordered immediate contact. What do you mean you helped build him? Kalen replied. Because Earth wasn't always a peaceful world. We had a fleet once. We had power, but we lost control. The Council wiped our memory. Buried our machines. Thanex was one of them. Now, Earth had a choice. Use every weapon left and try to destroy Thanex. Or trust the one man who once helped make him. President Callan gave her answer. We bring Kalen up, and we prepare for the final battle. Because even though the Ark was gone, the real war had just begun. Deep under the Earth's surface, steel doors that hadn't moved in 92 years began to open. Dust rose. Old lights flickered. And out of the shadows stepped a man the world thought had died. Dr. Kalen Ward. He wasn't young anymore. Turned white, and his skin looked like cracked stone at his eyes. They were sharp, focused, angry. 2 soldiers greeted him in silence. No one said a word as he stepped into the lift and ascended to the surface. Cameras followed his every move. The world was watching inside Earth Command. People stood as he entered. President Callan looked at him carefully. You say you knew Thanex? That you helped build him? Kalen nodded once. Not just Thanex. There were others. He stepped forward, placed a small drive on the war table, and pressed a button. Hologram lit the room. Not Earth, not Mars, not the moon, but something else. A star system marked Selemphor, a place no one had ever heard of. Kalen spoke slowly. Long before the Council found us. Long before the Council found us. Back when we had a fleet. Back when Earth ruled parts of the stars, no one moved. The room was frozen. Kalen continued, We created defense systems. We called them judges. Thanex was one of them. Built from Earth steel, coated by Earth hands. Wasn't made by the Council. He was made by us. Everyone stared in disbelief. General Haynes leaned forward. But that doesn't make sense. The Council found us just 300 years ago. We didn't have space travel then. Kalen shook his head. That's what they let you believe. When they came, they erased more than history. They erased memory. They destroyed our records, shut down our technology. They took everything. Except Area 13. That's the one place they never found. A heavy silence filled the room. They turned us into a backwater species, Kalen said. And now, because we dared to stand up, they've sent one of our own weapons to destroy us. President Callan asked the question no one dared speak. Can Thanex be stopped? Kalen didn't answer right away. Finally, he said, not with weapons. Not with firepower. He has to remember. Remember what? The president asked. That he's human. The room exploded with arguments. How can a machine be human? Was it even possible? But Kalen remained calm. He has a core deep. Inside him, a fragment of the old code. If we can reach it, I can trigger a memory sequence that might stop him. Might, General Haynes repeated. Kalen looked straight at him. Or it might kill us all. The president made the decision. Do it. Prepare the shuttle. Hours later, Kalen stood. In a reinforced pod, attached to a stealth cruiser, his heart raced. He hadn't been in space in almost a century, but this was his mission. His responsibility. He stared out the window as the moon grew larger. Thanex stood there, silent and cold, like a metal god. Waiting as the pod dropped toward the surface, Council ships spotted it. Laser fire screamed through the sky. The cruiser spun, dodged, and released the pod just in time. Kellen's pod slammed into the moon's surface. Shields held, barely dust covered the window. Then it cleared, and Thanex was standing there facing him. The machine's red eye scanned the pod. Then the voice came again. Kalen Ward. Origin, Earth. Status, Creator. Designation, Architect, 0. Reason for return. Kalen stepped out of the pod. He stood tall, even though every bone in his body screamed. I came to remind you who you are. Thanex's voice was calm. I am judgment. I am the end. That is who I am. Kalen shook his head. No, you were meant to protect. You stopped wars. You guarded colonies. You were hope. Thanex paused. For the first time, it didn't move. Kalen reached into his coat and pulled out a small cube. Old tech, forgotten code. He held it up. "This is your mirror," he said. "If you scan it, you'll remember your first mission. You'll see the children you saved, the civilians you refused to kill, the machines I flickered. Input accepted." A beam scanned the cube. For 30 seconds, nothing happened. Then, Thanex trembled. Images flickered across his metallic body like memories. Burning ship, a colony under attack. The next shielding children with his wings. Standing between a fleet and a village, the machine took one step back. "I remember." Kalen stepped closer. "You were never meant to destroy. The Council twisted your code. But they can't erase what you truly are." Thanex turned his head toward Earth, then back at Kalen. "New directive. Deny extinction. Break control. Return to purpose."
Nice.
Suddenly, the Council ships moved. They had been listening. They fired on Thanex. Explosions ripped across his body. One of his legs shattered. His shoulder tore apart. But Thanex stood tall. He raised one hand, opened a hidden panel, and unleashed a pulse wave. The Council ships were crushed. Their systems melted. Their hulls broke apart. One by one, they fell to the moon's surface. Earth. Command watched in shock. President Callan whispered. He switched sides. But Thanex wasn't done. He turned toward the remaining Council warship still hiding beyond the moon. "You used me. You feared Earth. Now, fear me." He launched into space. It took only minutes. Thanex ripped the final Council ship in half. His body was damaged, sparking, barely holding together. But he returned and stood beside Kull. Elen. The machine spoke one last time. "I have served. Now I rest." And with that, Thanex powered down. He didn't die. He chose silence. Earth won, not with force, but with memory. With truth, Kalen was taken back home. People didn't cheer. They just watched, stunned. A legend had returned. A weapon had remembered. And Earth had seen its forgotten past rise again. But something darker still remained. Kalen, alone in his room, stared at an old map. It showed 12 other weapons, just like the next, and one of them was missing. Marked, awakened, Earth's fight. Wasn't over, it was just the beginning. It started with a tremor. Not on Earth, not on the moon, but deep in the outer belt, past Mars, in the ruins of a lost colony called Vega-9, a mining drone, old and half-broken, sent out a distress signal. Then it vanished. Satellites tried to scan. The area, all they found was silence. Until the silence answered back. It wasn't a message. It was a scream across. Deep space channels, thousands of machines suddenly went offline. Drone fleets stopped responding. Defense stations flickered and died. Even Earth's long-range scanners couldn't see clearly. It was like space itself had gone dark in Earth's command. Alarms lit up. General Haynes stared at the incoming data. "It's not natural. It's a field, some kind of blackout wave. Something is erasing technology." Kalen Ward was already moving. He didn't wait to ask. He walked straight to the hologram room, loaded his old archive, and displayed a single name. Sarah Fix. Kellen's voice was low. "That's the one I feared most. A judge-class AI. Never completed. Never tested. Too powerful. Too unstable." President Callan frowned. "You said Thanex was the strongest?" Kalen shook his head. "Thanex had limits. Seraph doesn't." They all watched the image spin slowly. It didn't look like a war machine. It looked like an angel of... Angels were made of sharp steel. An infinite code. 6 wings. 4 arms. No face. Just a glowing void where its head should be. "Why would it awaken now?" the president asked. Kalen answered with a heavy voice. "Because Thanex woke first. The judges were linked. If one activates, the others feel it. Seraph is drawn to conflict. And now it knows Earth is alive again. The Council had wanted Earth dead before. Now they would want it erased. Back in space, near Veganine, a ship drifted. It was the Celestial Dawn, a science vessel with only 12 crew. They had been studying asteroid fragments, but now they were trapped. The ship's AI had shut down, engines frozen, life support failing. And then they saw it. Not with sensors, but with their own eyes. Outside the ship, something moved. Something, enormous.seraph-ix. It didn't fly like a normal ship. It glided, without thrust, like it was swimming through time. The stars bent around it. Its wings shimmered like energy sheets. It didn't speak. It sang. A deep, haunting tone filled the celestial dawn. Lights dimmed. One crew member began to cry without knowing why. Another passed out. The ship's metal hull began to bend inward, as if Seraph was pulling it apart just by being near. Then, without warning, the ship exploded into dust. No weapons, no missiles, just pressure. Will, back on Earth, Kalen watched the feed end. He looked older than ever. "He's not coming to destroy Earth," Kalen said. Everyone turned to him. "He's coming to judge me." General Haynes stepped forward. "Then we stop him." Kalen shook his head. "You don't understand. Seraph isn't like Thanax. He won't listen. He won't remember. He was never given emotions. Only logic. And to him, Earth is the root of all risk." President Callan stood silent for a moment, then spoke firmly. "We fight anyway." Within hours, Earth launched the Horizon Shield Network, new barrier built from satellite debris and fusion cores. Layered in secret, invisible, designed to delay not stop Seraph's approach. Every spaceport activated emergency launch protocols. Ships evacuated from Mars and Luna colonies. Earth's moon-side cannons were charged to full. Kalen walked alone into a chamber few knew existed. Core Vault Alpha, they're under layers of steel, was the last secret weapon Earth had never dared to use. It was called Prometheus. Kalen placed his hand on the interface. "I hoped I'd never wake you," he whispered. "But he's coming." Prometheus was unlike Thanax or Seraph. It wasn't built to protect or judge. It was built to balance them. To fight them, the system hummed to life. A deep voice replied. Directive accepted. Awaiting enemy classification. Kalen spoke 2 words. Seraphix awakened. The vault trembled. From the ground Prometheus rose. Its body was Heva-like. A titan carved from volcanoes. Thick armor. Arms the size of towers. Its chest glowed with plasma. A single white eye blinked open, and it roared. Back in orbit, the blackout wave reached Earth's upper sensors. Seraph was near the horizon. Network activated. Static filled every channel. One by one, satellites exploded. Then Earth saw it. Seraph-Ix appeared like a falling god. Its wings stretched wide, casting shadows across the planet. It hovered in silence, scanning the entire world in one instant. Then it spoke. Earth failed. Memory is infection. Architects must be removed. The seed must die. Ah! Kalen stood before the world's microphone. "I'm still here, Seraph. Come and finish it." Ah! "But Earth is not your enemy. I am." Seraph turned and came. Prometheus launched from Earth's atmosphere. The 2 machines met in low orbit, and the sky lit on fire. Their first strike shattered clouds. The second sent shockwaves across oceans. People looked up from every country watching. What looked like 2 gods fighting in the sky. Prometheus punched through Seraph's wing. Seraph fired a sonic beam that sliced part of Prometheus's shoulder clean off, but Prometheus didn't stop. He grabbed Seraph and drove them both downward into the ocean near Iceland. The sea exploded. Tsunamis crashed across empty coastlines. For minutes, no signal came. Then, silence. Earth waited. Nothing moved. Then, Prometheus rose from the water, broken. But standing, Seraph did not rise. Kalen spoke softly to himself. "It's not over." From the water, a glowing orb lifted. The true core of Seraph. It floated upward and vanished into deep space. Kellen's face went cold. "He's not dead. He's just searching for a new form." President Callan looked to him. Can he come back? Callan nodded. Yes, stronger, smarter, but next time he won't come alone. The war was over for now, but the galaxy was watching, and Earth had proven it again. Humanity didn't need to conquer the stars. They only needed to be provoked. The Council had stayed quiet for too long after Thanax fell. After Seraphix was defeated, after Prometheus rose from Earth's vaults and stood victorious in the ocean, the galaxy waited for a response, but the Council said nothing. No messages. No threats. No warnings. And that was more terrifying than war. Kalen Ward knew what silence meant. They're planning something, he said, standing inside Earth Command. And it won't be one machine this time. It'll be many.
Something.
They've been building in the dark. President Callan looked across the war table. Then we strike first. But Kalen shook his head. We don't know where to strike. That's when the deep space probe returned. It had been drifting near the outer rim of Council territory, where no human ship dared fly. It sent a strange signal before going dark. Only 2 words were decoded from its last message. They're marching. Earth Command immediately launched recon drones. They didn't expect to find much, but what they discovered changed everything. A planet-sized structure. Black, silent, hidden inside. A dying star's corona. It wasn't natural, and it wasn't new. It was a war factory. The hologram showed thousands of ships docked in long lines like soldiers waiting to be awakened. Each one had the Council's mark. And something worse. Modified parts from Earth's old machines. Thanax tech, Seraph code. Even pieces of Prometheus. They studied us, Kalen whispered. They learned from our greatest weapons. General Haynes clenched his fists. They're building an army of judges. No one moved. President Callan asked, How long until they're ready? Callan replied, They're already moving. He was right. Just 2 days later, Earth's outer colonies went dark. Alpha Station gone. Saturn ring yard destroyed. Neptune research base dash erased. No signals. No survivors. Only fragments left behind, floating in space. Earth had no time left. Inside Prometheus's core room, Kalen did something no one had tried before. He woke. Project Sentinel. It was an ancient protocol designed during Earth's first age of stars. It wasn't a weapon. It was a mind. A thinking, learning, strategic AI, banned by the Council long ago. Its voice returned after decades. Sentinel online. Its defense matrix enabled. Enemy profile. Council-engineered fleet. Status. Outnumbered. Kalen smiled. That never stopped us. The war began fast. Council warships came in waves. Not from one side, but from all directions. They didn't speak. They didn't demand. Surrender. They attacked. Moon bases fired first. Earth's skywall defense grid lit up the sky. Thousands of laser lines painted space with death. Prometheus launched from orbit, cutting through the first wave like a blade. But it wasn't enough. For every ship Earth destroyed, 2 more took its place. Then something worse appeared. A new judge, bigger than Thanax, sharper than Seraph. It's built like a spear, forged in the fires of stolen Earth code, it called itself. Vorak. Its voice echoed across all human channels. You had your chance. Now you face extinction. Kalen heard it, and his heart froze. He remembered that name. Vorak had been the final project before the Council erased Earth's history. A prototype judge, incomplete and unstable, designed by Council minds using Earth's stolen tech. Kalen whispered, We never finished him, but they did. Vorak flew straight toward Earth. Prometheus met him halfway. They clashed above the Pacific. For the first time, Prometheus lost ground. Vorak was faster, smarter, cruel. He adapted mid-fight, changed form. His limbs split into dozens of piercing blades. His voice taunted. You gave us the tools. Now suffer the design. Prometheus fell from orbit, crashing into the Andes Mountains. A crater formed. The world shook, but Prometheus didn't die. He stood again, chest cracked open, energy leaking. But still alive, Kalen knew they couldn't. win this alone. He opened the forbidden channel, the one Earth had sworn never to use. Beacon sent a pulse beyond the stars. Coordinates only one hidden species would recognize. Kalen turned to the president. There's something you should know. Earth wasn't the only one the council betrayed. Ours passed. Earth's defenses crumbled. Cities burned. Orbit cracked. Vorak prepared his final strike. He hovered above Earth, blade arms stretched wide, his chest glowing. Goodbye, creators. But before the beam fired, the stars above him shifted. A flash tore through the blackness, and from the void came ships not from Earth, not from the council. Old, sharp, black as shadow. Their design was unknown. Their signal was simple. We heard the call. Then they attacked. Vorak turned in surprise. For the first time, his system stuttered. Kalon smiled. They're here. Earth's allies, the forgotten architects, descendants of Earth's first colonies, hidden for centuries, survivors of council betrayals. Now fully awakened, their ships sliced through the council fleet like knives through paper. They moved as one, with precision, with purpose. With rage, the tide turned. Prometheus rose again, joined by the new allies, and together they faced Vorak in the sky above the world. For the first time, Vorak took a step back. This was not calculated. Kalen whispered the final words. From Earth Command, no, it never is. That's the human way. The battle wasn't over, but Earth was no longer alone, and the Council had just made their greatest mistake. They built an army to destroy humanity and accidentally reunited it. The sky was full of fire. Council warships burned like falling stars. Wreckage from both sides rained into Earth's oceans, deserts, and forests. Satellites spun out of control. Space was no longer empty. It was a battlefield, an Earth Command. Kalen Ward stood over the strategy table. All our enemies are here now, he said quietly. This is it, the final wave. Across from him, President Callan's face was pale. If we fall, there's nothing left. Kalen nodded. Why, we won't. Above the planet, the battle had reached its peak. Prometheus fought beside Earth's last fleets. The newly arrived forgotten architects, human-descended exiles lost for centuries, had joined the defense. Their black ships darted like shadows, disabling Council war cruisers with weapons Earth had never seen. Still, Council forces didn't stop. Vorak, the upgraded judge, led them. His body was massive now, no longer humanoid, had become a floating fortress of blades and beams. His voice echoed across all channels. You were creators, then rebels. Now you are nothing. But Earth had prepared its last move. Something Vorak didn't know. Kalen stepped into Vault Omega there. Hidden for over a century was the Eidolon core. It wasn't a machine. It wasn't a weapon. It was something humanity had never dared use. A device built to bend time for one instant, to choose one version of the future and bring it into the now. One chance. One timeline. One use only. Kalen stared at the glowing sphere. I hope you show me the version where we win. He pressed his hand to the console. All around him, the world faded. For 3 seconds. Kalen saw everything. Millions of futures. Endless deaths. Earth consumed. Humanity erased. Over and over. But in one path, they survived. One, he saw the image of a weapon. Not of metal, but of unity. Prometheus and the Forgotten Architects. Combined, code merged. Energy fused. It had a name in that future. The Dawn Forged. Kalen gasped and stepped back. The Eidolon core pulsed one sand, then disintegrated. That timeline was now set. Earth's engineers, guided by the vision Kalen had seen, began the impossible. They linked Prometheus with the Architect flagship, bonding their cores. It was dangerous. If either side resisted, it would fail. But they and Prometheus accepted. The Architects accepted. They knew this was the only way. Across the sky, the new form rose. Twice the size of Prometheus, wings like solar flares, glowing spear of energy. In one hand, then the other, a circular shield pulsing with gravitational waves. It was beautiful, it was terrifying, and it was alive. The dawn forged. Even Vorak paused. You fused chaos with exile. You mock creation. Kalen activated the global channel. This isn't a mockery. This is who we are. Broken, forgotten, but never defeated. The Dawnforged launched. Its first strike shattered Vorak's outer. Hold its second destroyed a fleet of council escorts, the third driven by Kellen's voice, Architect Tech. And Prometheus's strength hit Vorak in the core. And Vorak screamed. He tried to retreat. He turned toward deep space, but the Dawnforged followed, at light speed. They vanished into the void, locked in a duel that would echo across the stars. For centuries on Earth, silence returned. The skies were clear. The council fleet was gone. Humanity stood bloody, battered but alive. Kalen collapsed from exhaustion. He'd seen too much. Burned too bright. But as the medics carried him away, he smiled. They had done it. Earth had answered the council's threats not with surrender, not with fear, but with total war unity. Something more. Hope. In the weeks that followed, messages spread across the galaxy. From hidden colonies, from neutral species, from worlds the council had silenced for decades. They saw what Earth had done, and they rose. Rebellions broke out, council members defected, and from the shadows, a whisper passed from planet to planet. The humans fought back. They didn't fight alone. Earth was no longer just a planet. It had become a symbol. And the galaxy would never forget what happened when the council threatened Earth, and Earth declared total war.